right, that's neither here nor there. What is here is Charles Robinson, friend of the show, wrote this, Rob, a column yesterday. Here's the title. Browns may need to look at QB options beyond Baker Mayfield. All right. He's putting it out there, Rob, because Baker Mayfield hasn't gotten a long-term deal, right? He's in his 4th year. The team has not offered him the huge long-term contract. And what they did do is lock him up for the 5th-year option, so he's playing next year for them. And obviously franchise tags later on down the line, or at least at this point, on the table. So what is your thought on whether or not the Browns should do what Charles Robinson put out there?
I think it's misguided. And unless, Chris, the only way it's not misguided is if you could swing a trade and get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or something like that. I mean, barring that, there's nobody out there. There's nobody you're drafting. I think this is misguided and wrong, and they should give this guy a vote of confidence other than, Chris, some situation that falls into your lap where the Packers and Aaron Rodgers can't come to terms or something of that ilk.
So when you say a vote of confidence, what, they need to come out and say he's our quarterback in the future?
He's our quarterback. And yes, because this is the same guy who won their first playoff game in 26 years. Like, who the hell are the Browns now?
Hey. Don't be ripping Cleveland.
I am ripping Cleveland. Cleveland!
They got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a great aquarium.
Oh, yeah, and the mistake on the lake. That's what it's called. But my point is, he won their first playoff game in 26 years. The Browns won 11 games last. Chris, I don't want to give him a medal or parade, but let's not act like, and I'm not saying he's played great this year, okay? I'll give you that. But really, they've had 30 quarterbacks in the last 30 years, and now the one guy who had a great year for them, who won them a playoff game against their rivals, the Steelers, now all of a sudden, well, we don't know if we really want him. We need to look around, and maybe there's a Case Keenum laying around. I know that's not, exactly who they're looking for, but Chris, that's who's out there.
That darn right ain't who they're looking for.
But that's who's out there, Garoppolo and people like that.
In the article that Charles Robinson wrote, he used the example of Tennessee when they had Marcus Mariota, who we remember was a top draft pick, and everybody was expecting big things from him. He looked okay, had his moments, but they weren't sure about him. They move on from him and go get Ryan Tannehill, who was nobody's idea of a star at that time. And obviously the rest is history, and they become a viable playoff team. To your point, so I'm with you on that. I'm not looking for the next Ryan freaking Tannehill.
That's okay? What I'm talking about. Right.
I'm with you on I'm not getting rid of Baker for Jimmy G, as much as, both of you and I have said Jimmy G's solid. But I'm not moving on from Baker Mayfield from him because I don't think that's much of an upgrade.
Right.
I'm not doing it for a Teddy Bridgewater, a Case, any of these average, run-of-the-mill, nondescript quarterbacks as Ryan Tannehill was in Miami. Okay. But where I depart from you, Rob, is, and I hear you, first playoff appearance in 18 years, first victory in 26 years in the playoffs. I get it. They had a bunch of terrible quarterbacks running there. It was like a different quarterback every year.
It's ridiculous,
even more frequently. So I hear you. It's not like I'm down on Baker or I'm like he's not going to be our quarterback going forward. But, Rob, I am kicking the tires if I'm the Browns on some of the guys you mentioned. Yeah, I'm shooting my shot at Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, I'm shooting my shot at Russell Wilson, who sounded disgruntled this past offseason. And yeah, if Deshaun Watson gets through his legal issues and can play football, I'm going for him. Now, if I don't get those guys, then I got Baker. And Baker, I'm not signing him to a long-term deal this summer. Unless, he just takes off over the rest of the season and leads them to like the AFC Championship game or something. But I have him on a 5th-year prove-it deal, Rob, where he's got to play well, and, we'll see what he does. And if he doesn't convince me then, I'll franchise him. And I got 3. I don't want to do it for 3 years, but, hey, I got that option. So I just think that there's no need to – certainly I'm not throwing $40 million at him. And I understand in the long run it could cost me a little bit more money, right? If I keep franchising him and then decide he's our guy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dak Prescott got way more, Chris, because they waited.
Yep.
And they played the waiting game. You're going to pay. And like I said, unless you can get
but wouldn't you kick the tire? So you wouldn't even try for any of the 3 guys I mentioned?
I would give him more love and respect than he gets. All these stories and all this stuff out there, like, I just don't feel like they fully embraced him. And Chris, especially coming off of last year, I just think. I think
you're playing into it, which I get to a degree. I think part of your thinking though is they're the Browns. They've been horrible. Be happy with where you're at, and I get that and that's why I'm fine with Baker if I can't get somebody better. But Baker's not that star yet, Rob. And may never be, where I'm not looking at anybody else.
I just think that it's a pipe dream. Everybody's looking for a quarterback upgrade, Chris, and there's just not that many guys out there.
There's those 3. That's it. There's those 3, and I get it. If they leave, are they looking to go to Cleveland? Maybe not. Certainly, you're looking at the city. As much as I may love Cleveland, and you're saying I'm not going there, but if Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson wants to win, then I think the Browns would have to be on their short list.
Yeah,
if they leave, and they may not, those 2 besides Watson may not even leave. I'm just saying, Rob, I'm making a call. Like I'm checking it out. And Baker's not going anywhere. And if me looking at 2 future Hall of Famers is going to ruffle your feathers and now you can't perform, then you're not that guy anyway.
Yeah, I get that. And if you could have a chance to upgrade to one of those 2, but
what about Watson?
And Watson, I mean, he's a big X factor just because I just don't know, Chris. Like, can the Browns really afford to make a move and this guy wind up in prison?
You can't. No,
you know what I mean? Like, you're the Browns. Like, you can't take that. I don't think they could take that risk. It would just. Well, no, you got to know he's going to be able to play. Right.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
You have
with
to.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
I just think. I get it. What did Baker have last week? 43 yards? Is that what the number was?
I think it's 70 or something like that.
Is that what it was?
73 maybe. Yeah, but it was in the 70s.
It was ridiculous is what it was.
Well, here's where I'm at, and I wonder if you like this comparison. I think right now, Rob, and I'm not saying Baker can't become a star because Dak Prescott was a game manager a few years ago. And now he's become, at least in my eyes and the eyes of many, a star. Okay, so Baker does have talent. Maybe he'll develop and grow into that. But right now, Rob, I think he is kind of this generation's version of Jim McMahon. He's a game manager with moxie, with spunk, with swagger. And Jim McMahon won a Super Bowl, right, as the starter. Now, it took one of the best defenses we've ever seen and one of the best running backs we've ever seen. Walter Payton, who ran for 1,500 yards that year.
Don't forget, Chris, when they won that Super Bowl, the players carried off Mike Ditka, one group, and the other group carried off Buddy Ryan, who was the defensive coordinator, carried him off the field. Right. That's how great that defense was.
Absolutely. And I think I would have liked to have seen them carry off Walter Payton.
That would have been nice, too.
Or at least give him a touchdown. We remember the controversy around that when he didn't get a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But do you like that comparison? He's got that attitude, that cockiness that McMahon had. He's tough. He's got toughness, too. But right now, he doesn't have the game of that. He's got the game of a game manager. And look, they got a strong running game. They got a defense that, at least on paper, is very good.
There's a lot of things to like. And we saw them even last year. Remember, they played well against Kansas City, Chris, for most of that game. They were in that game.
Right. Well, at that time, we don't know what Kansas City was,
And the other thing, too, that just real quick, some numbers. Baker without OBJ in his career, quarterback rating 100.1, 14 touchdowns, only 3 picks. That's since 2009. And Chris, 8-5 as a starter.
2019.
19,
yeah.
19. And 8-5 as a starter. So he's performed like even
But
without
you said
having that.
they had a light schedule, didn't they, toward the end of last year? A lighter schedule.
Had,
but I'm with you. He was definitely better without.
Remember they had the couple of big games that they won on the road.
And he beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs without his coach. So I'm with you. I'm not like down on Baker, but I'm just saying if I can upgrade to a star, then I'm doing that. But otherwise, I'm sticking with Baker. All right.